Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Wellbeing Wednesday. Thank you for joining us. It is Wednesday, the 13th of December. If you're watching live or if you're watching the recording, thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of the People's Health Alliance, you are very welcome. This morning, we're going to be discussing predominantly primary water. And first, I'd like to introduce the beautiful, wonderful Helen Gibson. Good morning, Helen.
Good morning, Kerry. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening to anyone that's watching on catch up. Primary water. This was something that June was quite passionate about speaking, and primary water is the water that is actually coming up from the ground, as opposed to the water that is in the surface cycle, I suppose. That's what primary water is essentially talking about. And there is an abundant, endless supply of this. We kind of, at the moment, our water supplies are surface, and I'm aware that there's a gentleman from New Zealand here that has already blown me away with some of his knowledge on the different types of water and what they're doing to water. So I do invite anyone that's actually listening right now to jump in. But when we're referring to primary water, we are referring to the water that is underground. Our water supply, usually we think of it as it gets evaporated up and it comes back down, and then it comes down through the mountains and the lakes above and into our reservoirs, and then the government and our authorities get hold of it and fluoridate it, chlorinate it, and all sorts of things. Or it's recycled. For a long time, I've actually believed that those of us in cities are literally drinking recycled urine, because our water is put into reservoirs and treated and then comes back out to us. So it's this kind of unhealthy loop of water, hence the reason that most of us, not most of us, but most people that I know anyway, don't actually drink tap water. Because it is so heavily chemicaled, and also with the increase in pharmaceuticals that people are ingesting, that is also in our water supply. And this is something else that I don't find has been spoken about. So I'm going to get a little bit political, because unfortunately, if the government and the authorities are actually messing with our water by cleaning it, and I do use those air quotes, and that's not a great thing. But if they are messing with our water, then it is a political thing, in all fairness, as all areas of life are. But so, for example, the increase in women taking contraceptives has put a lot of estrogen into our water, which is also, I believe, a contributory factor to the feminization of our men. So there's things to be considered. The increase in man-made drugs, cocaine, heroin, anything that's a powder, MDMA. So all of these man-made recreational drugs are also in our water. Alcohol is in our water, and our alcohol isn't even what alcohol used to be. Now it's more chemical. Once upon a time, it was hops and water and a bit of sugar and maybe some yeast. Now, if you were to read the ingredient list on some of the alcohol, it's not that. Vodka, I believe, is potatoes, as is poachine. Wine is grapes. So a lot of our alcohol historically was very natural. However, that's not the case anymore. And all of this is in the surface level water that is being recycled, and a lot of it can't get cleaned out. So going back to the primary water, which is what we're initially talking about, this water is the water that is generated in the earth. I watched a few videos, so I'm really kind of a little bit inept, but it is about the water that is under the ground. So where the water from springs come from, you've got hot springs that shoot up. So it's the water that comes from underneath the earth. It is abundant, and we will put some links, and I think that's the best thing that I can actually offer, is the links to some of the videos, so that you can actually do your own research on primary water and how there is no need for us to be chemically messing about with our water. And if you think about geoengineering with the actual manipulation of our weather, again, the water supply is being the clouds are being seeded. That's a chemical thing. We've got chemtrails and everything else that is coming into from the air onto the earth. That's then going into some of the not so very deep water supplies, and that is also what's the word? I'm not sure, but that is also affecting the water that most of us are actually consuming. I'm very fortunate that I have my own well, so I can eliminate some of the stuff. It is still coming from a natural source, although those natural sources they are actually messing about with. But there is primary water that is clean and fresh and beneficial, filled with nutrients, filled with minerals, filled with the things that we really need, so that we could literally, if we went down far enough, we could actually just pick it up and drink it, which would be great. So I will put some links into the chat about that kind of water. But just before we went on, we started recording, I was talking with Kevin, and if Kevin's happy to talk about the systems in New Zealand, please, Kevin, pop in and tell us what the things, because you really did blow me away with your knowledge and some of the terminology. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm such a novice where water is concerned, asking about. And again, so Kevin, is there anything you'd like to add about water and the water in New Zealand?
Helen, you're naughty. I know I gate crashed the party, but you're putting me on the spot here. I suppose it's my fault for gate crashing. Yeah, I live in Hastings on the east coast of the North Island of New Zealand. We have got an aquifer. I won't go into the long names of that. We've got an aquifer here. Hastings has all its water coming from wells. And they have, in the last 18 months, built some really large reservoirs, which are there for them to be able to have the supply of water to fluoridate and chlorinate at the same time. We started a group about 6 years ago protesting about fluoride, and fortunately we caused enough nonsense there that they actually put in a tap next to our Hastings library. We call it the Hastings Fountain, where there's 4 taps there where the citizens can go and get water that has been, I think it's gone through some filters, and it might have been UV'd, but it's got no fluoridation in it, it's got no chloride in it. So I go and get 20 liters plus or minus a week from there. What does concern me, though, is from what you've been saying, is how much we haven't got any lakes here. Is there water that's going through the system on the surface, like into sewage ponds and stuff like that, that is filtered, and there's a certain percentage added to the aquifer primary water just to boost it? Certainly chemtrails, if you're using surface lakes and ponds type things, there's certainly the chemtrails would be something that would really concern me. But what quite a few of us have done is we've got the filters, and you could talk for an hour on the different kinds of carbon filters and whatever filters, activated filters. But I use a terahertz frequency device that I use on all my water for about a 20-liter container. For about 2 minutes, I blow this frequency through the water, and it's been tested and whatever, that it's changed the water from polymeric to linear. I don't know if you want me to go into a little bit of detail about that. So
I've no idea what that actually means. Yes.
Oh, it's pretty easy to explain. A water molecule has between 12 and 15 atoms of H2O that are all in a clump, in a bunch, polymeric all together. Now, apparently, when you use this frequency, it then opens them out so that they are like primary water, which should be in a line. And that linear water means those oxygen atoms are more readily available to the system. And I haven't gone into any PhD stuff on trying to understand that, but that's as far as I sort of understand it, which, you know, anybody I sort of speak to, that as far as they want to know.
There's so much work being done recently, well, within the on water. I know that I can't remember the Japanese, I think he's a Japanese scientist that is, and that's when you actually speak to water, just talking to water, sending that kind of vibration to water. And I think one of your fellow Kiwis, Veda Austin, I believe her name is, she's done some absolutely amazing work on photographing water and showing you that water actually holds memory. Yes, that's it, Masaru Emoto. He's done some work, and that is about, and this is, I know that again, this is a conversation of a few days ago, intentional water. So for example, I drink my water out of a copper. I put my water into copper now, because they've also taken copper out of the water system and replaced it with plastic. And it turns out that that wasn't a very good thing for us. But intentional water, so one of my rituals and practices around water is to actually, when I put my water into my bottle, well, actually when I buy water and when I bring it up from the well, I actually do send frequencies into the water. I send intention into the water. If I'm not well, or I'm not feeling quite right, and there's something that I desire, I actually intentionalize my water through my hands. And there's, you know, this is down to almost spiritual healing. Again, that whole vibration and frequency of sending an intention into the water that does actually change the construction of the water. And this is where Veda Austin's work is so amazing, because you see the last thing, I think it's Dr. Zach Bush. You can find some of, I'll put these links into the chat, to go onto the channel. Water holds memory. Which blew me away when I learned this last year. Water actually holds memory. So Veda Austin's work, and I'm zipping around from people's different work, but they do all tie in. So Veda Austin's work, she photographs, she freezes, she sets something, and then she freezes the water, then takes photographs. And you can actually see the last thing that the water was, the intention that the water was given, taking shape within the water. I can't express how mind-blowing it is, that this is so evident. You can't deny. If she's thinking about a dog, and then freezes the water, photographs the water, the dog is actually in the water. You can see the picture of the dog. And this sort of ties into the work of, I don't know if it's Zach Bush's work, there's somebody else's work. I've got loads of links for this, but I thought June was going to be here and I knew that she would have them. But there is, water holds memory and intention and frequency and vibration. So Veda Austin's work is photographic evidence of that. Dr. What was his name? Emoto's work shows us that what you put into, so if you send something love, it's the water within these things that you're actually set. The water is in everything. It's in the air, it's in our water in. So this also is one of those things where I'm going to start sounding woo-woo in terms of being connected to our ancestors and to the very source of life, because water holds the memory, which means we have access to all of this. So within the water, when Dr. Emoto's work shows that if you send water the vibration of love, the food and everything that's got the water in actually flourishes. We are, I've heard so many conflicting different things about whether we're 70% water or 80% water or 90% water, but we are predominantly water. So this is where the messages that we send ourselves is so vitally important. The way that we talk to ourselves is so vitally important, because we are predominantly water. And if you look at Veda Austin's work and look at Dr. Emoto's work, you really think about how you actually speak to yourself and how you speak to others, because you are sending a vibration and an intention to their water, essentially.
Helen, sorry,
And
I'm just going to interrupt just a second. I'm just going to allow Kevin to share his screen because he's got some images. But also, just while he's doing that, just you talking about how much water content we are. When I had a conversation with Lisa Steele, who is one of our ambassadors, and with some of the testing that she does, it's on the whole body and all of our fluids, not just blood. And blood is such a small part of us. And yet that's where most of our pharmaceutical testing is based, on our blood. But there's so much more to us than that. And you just saying about how we are water and how everything around us is water, it makes total sense to test in that way.
Yeah, totally. I look forward to seeing Kevin's images. But it really, when you start to look at this stuff, as I said, it does make you start to think about how the intentions that you, there it is. Oh, isn't water beautiful?
Wow.
I think this is Emoto's work, and the way that water actually, and as you can see, everything has its own shape, its own geometrical shape, and it has its own frequency. And what you put into the water is so important. And this is why blessing everything that you put into your body, your food, and whether you want to put that as a, what was that? I was brought up to say a prayer over my food and everything that went in, and I can't remember one actually. I just say thank you, but offering gratitude to what is there is changing the frequency and the makeup of what it is that you're putting into your body. And it's incredibly important. I will put the links in, and there was the pictures of, if you can see the difference, and some of those horrible things, when you say horrible things, it affects us. Stagnation, and if things slow us down, stagnant water is smelly and not nice. So look at this. Oh, and music. Oh, this is fabulous. Sorry, I get very excited because music
I was just going to ask about, because on the last picture it had heavy metal, but we know there's certain music that builds or increases vibration. So thank you for sharing this, Kevin. It's brilliant.
Yeah, these are beautiful, and this is what structured water looks like as well, I think. And when you I think I would encourage everyone to play with water. Obviously, I don't have a microscope, and other people do, but play with your water in terms of setting different intentions and become aware of how that actually impacts upon your day and upon how you feel. I know for a fact that my water is intentional, and it's filled with love and gratitude most of the time, which helps me to maintain that loving, grateful vibration that I wish to live in. And when you're, I suppose I'm getting into food now more so than water, but if you're thinking about guilty pleasures, as soon as you say that kind of word, a guilty pleasure, you're telling your body that you're receiving something that it should feel guilty about, and isn't a great pleasure. It's such a contradiction, a guilty pleasure. Oh, I was holding my water then, so I'm going to hold it again because I know what I've just put into my water. So just really think about how you engage with your water, the water within your body, the water that you take into your body, and know that you have, Kevin was talking about the frequencies that he consciously plays to his water supply. So think about that, obviously doing that as well, finding out what frequencies, and you just saw all the different types of music. So even putting on your favorite tracks as you are preparing your meals, as you're filtering your water, I've got one of these speakers here, those Bluetooth speakers. Think about the frequency that you put your music through as well, and have that just by your water jug or by your water filter, so that your water is receiving all of that conscious, loving vibration. And that will not only impact your water that you drink, it will impact your body, it impacts the air. And remember that air is, what's air? oxygen. It's not just oxygen. There's a formula for air that actually has water in it as well, because water is part of the air supply. So I'm going to stop talking and please invite people to bring in their own kind of ideas on how and what they're doing with their water, and encourage you all to go and check out some of Veda Austin's work, Emoto's work, Zach Bush. There's work on, as I say, water holds memory, and for me that one is just huge in terms of accessing our ancestors, accessing source, and also because time is eternal and not real, we can access everything through the water. If we can tap into that, we can, on a spiritual level, on a physical level, on a mental level, if we can bring ourselves to that vibration and to that place, we can, the possibilities are just endless. It's just phenomenally exciting, and just also like, it really kind of puts you on the spot as well. It puts me on the spot because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm such a lazy sod that can't be bothered to do this and can't be bothered to do that. But the possibilities of water holding memory in terms of our access to information, our access to source, our access to absolutely everything is just beyond. And there's just, it's just mind-blowing. Our access to healing ourselves when we realize that we are, and this is why when you go for treatments, so if you go for a reflexology treatment, you go for any holistic treatment, when people come to me and they have a session, whether it's a talking session, whether they've had a drumming session, whether I've sang over them, whether it's been crystals, drink plenty of water to flush out what it is that needs to go. So, you know, allowing your body to release. So if you are going to the toilet lots, allow your body to do that. If it's becoming cumbersome and there's something wrong, then please do sort of check yourself out. But know that you have that access to your own healing. So I'm going to invite Kerry. I think we need to do some movement to get the body moving. Perhaps it's time for some movement. Kerry, are you going to take us to some movement? Did I stop talking?
I was just wanted to ask something. When talking about the change in water and the evidence of change, it just reminded me of grounding and how, and I go back to blood now because that's where the tests were done, how blood tests were taken before and after grounding and how it can completely change. And yeah. I wonder if that's how, if it's in the same way that water does.
I would imagine so, because one of the things, and perhaps it, I mean, talking of earthing, and perhaps it is the water, connection to the water in the earth that actually changes us, because there is that immediate vibrational and frequency change. And if anybody's watched the Earthing movie, they aren't actually able. It happens so quickly when you connect with the earth directly that they aren't able to measure. There's a speed, it's just so fast. As soon as you connect with the planet, everything changes within your physiology. And I'm not sure whether that is the earth, the water, they are one, aren't they? And that's the thing, we're all one. So I don't know. This is where I want to June right now and go, June, where are you?
I know.
Because I know for a fact she would have done far more research than I.
And I was watching June's talk with the Karen Oliver's Soul. I can't remember the name of it. Soul Solutions. Thank you.
Soul Solutions.
And she did say about grounding on there, and she said Helen's been trying to get me to ground. She's been too flipping cold outside.
Really, I was out there this morning. I don't know whether people need to know this or not, but I tried to have my first urination outside, barefoot on the earth.
In your well?
Yeah, no, not near my well, but well, my well is very deep and it's over that side. But that's part of my earthing, and I was thinking as I put my feet on the ground this morning, I was thinking. Wet, not so cold as yesterday. It's a real great barometer. It's beautiful when you walk out and it's frosty. It's not nice that it's cold, but that crispness as it reaches the bottom of your feet. And again, if Julie was here because she's a foot person, the points that and I'm using my hand, but I would imagine that the points on your feet as you connect with the earth all activate those parts of your body. It wakes up the whole body. Like the ground right now is cold and wet, but I would encourage everybody, whether it's snowing, raining, whatever it is, get your feet on the earth. And one of the reasons that I do my first, and I do try to do my last one in the garden, is that I was once told that if you let your garden, this is my way of letting my garden know what I need. Communicating through my waters to my garden what's happening in my body, and what will happen there is my body receives that, and someone says it's within 3 seasons. I don't know whether that is true, that your garden will actually then start to grow what you need to reharmonize you, so the herbs that you need and things like that. So I have lots of cleavers, nettles, dandelions, what else grows naturally in my garden? Bramble. All of these are really, really good. These are, we've been again deceived into believing that these are weeds, but all of these are exceptionally good for you. Dandelion, your digestive system, the bitters, if it's bitter, bramble tea, really good. All of it is just so good for you, and most of it is down to digestion. And I know that within Wellbeing Wednesdays, we've done talks on gut health. And if you think about your digestive system, that's your gut health. So connect to your water, your own water. And that's why when you go to the doctors, they want to know what's going on with your water. They get you to pee and they test your water, because your water tells them lots. Can you imagine what it tells the earth about you? I just find that off. Yeah,
You're just saying about bitter as well. You mentioned bitter with the nettles. And again, see, I'm a very good student, because I learned from June yesterday, and she's told us about this in Wellbeing Wednesday, how we have a problem with damp at the moment, and we shouldn't be having damp foods. But if you have bitter foods, then that can help with the damp.
Yeah, because the bitters, the reason it's bitter to the tongue, sweet to the body, sweet to the tongue, bitter to the body, like it's not good for you. But when you take in bitters, and I know that my friend did her video actually on making bitters. She's made some bitters liqueur or for Christmas. So as a digestive, and this is what the aperitifs used to be. They would be bitters to get your body ready. And this is about getting your water ready. This is about you getting your body ready for what it's about to digest and its indulgence, and to help your system. So I've made dandelion tincture, which is, but that's vodka, to be fair. And she made her bitters with brandy, and she used oh my gosh, some of the worts. So you've got mugwort and different worts. I can't remember what she put into it, because I wasn't ready to speak about it, to be fair, and I might have gone and watched it again. But she used brandy as the alcohol, as the thing to pull out. So do go to your garden, let your garden know what's going on with you by offering your garden your own water. It sounds a little bit like and a lot of people are not fans of it, but me and my dog really enjoy our morning bits and bits.
I was going to say my dog uses the garden. Whatever's in there is obviously catering to him.
But I think the other thing I suppose what I want to say about that is we've been led to believe that what our body releases is waste. There is no waste. This is about recycling. You know, there's some really good evidence that urine, especially men's urine, is really good for composting, because of some of the stuff that's within men, the hormones and things like that. So there's no such thing as waste. Whatever is, I mean, I might have said this before, but I mean, we use dry toilets and human urine and things like that. So and this is all about getting back to, and it's not about living in a cave, because trust me, I don't want to get rid of my washing machine, I don't want to get rid of my freezers. There's things I don't want, that I want to keep hold of. So but it's about knowing what our ancestors innately knew, and it's only over the last 100 years, I would less than, that we actually have toilets, and then our waste goes off in somewhere, and we no longer are connected to it. When we moved to the country for the first time, and I had to learn about septic tanks, wells, and soakaways, I was like, what? I was used to turning on a tap, having water come out that I believed was clean. Unfortunately, I now know that it's literally just recycled urine and toxins, and then it going off. And I never for 1 second thought that it was actually going to come back through my tap. That now I know is not true. That's how it goes. So there was no connection to my water supply, either the water that I drank or the water that I released. So do get to know about your water supply. Find out what's in your council's water. Find out how you can, there are some links that I think Kevin has given us in terms of the frequencies. So this is, I'm very much leaning into the PHA's ethos of do your research, go and find out. I have a tendency to forget what this stuff is. I just know that, oh, that resonates as true. And the other thing in terms of water, and I have kind of touched on spiritual elements. Do you know when people say it's in my water, it's going to rain, it's in my waters are telling me things. Your waters are truly telling you things, you know, your water, and because it's everywhere on a spiritual, physical and mental level, listen to your water. You're going to move us, Kerry. You're going to get us moving.
I'm going to move us. Unless anybody else has anything else they'd like to say. I wasn't sure what we were doing this morning, but I can throw something together. We haven't done some balance for a while. So how about let's get warmed up and do some balance alongside some other stuff. I'll just make it up. Are we ready?
As you go along. Wing it Wednesday, Kerry.
Wing it Wednesday. If we decide to change the day we do this in the new year, I'm going to have to change the title. Yes, on that note, if anyone's watching and like to join us, please get in touch. Email me, Kerry at the-pha.com. We have had a lot of people come forward, so it's so exciting. We're going to have some new people with us next year. Okay, as always, if you're new to exercise, please take it easy. There's nothing too strenuous. Just listen to your body. It's better to get advice before you start from your health practitioner. Otherwise, just take it very, very slowly. You can stay in your chair and let's go. Let's move. I'm going to move my screen. I'm not sure if you can see me. I'm going to do this in bare feet today. So let's just take a side step. And let's see how this goes. Welcome, good morning. This will wake us up. Just lift the shoulders up and down a few times. And then take them back about 4 times. And then when you're ready, we'll bring them forwards. If you're sitting down, that's fine. Just do the arm movements nice and gradually. Let's lead with the elbows this time. And the other way. You can just stay in one spot. You don't have to move. You can just walk on the spot. Okay, just take one arm across the body, nice and gently. Lifting the heel. Going to take one leg behind. The other, stay on your toes with the foot that goes behind. Allow the arms just to swing. Little bit of cross crawl. Honouring the beautiful June. Where is she? Okay, now we're going to take that leg across the front. Just tap the toes side to side. Again, allow the arms to do what they want. If you're in a chair, just lift the knees. If you're standing and you haven't got too much balance, just touch the toes. If you're okay to do so, just get the knees up a little bit higher. We can tap across, alternate knees, keeping the cross crawl going. If you're able to, just take the arms up and over this time. This will increase your heart rate. If it's too much for you, just bring it down. And now we're going to take the foot behind. So you're basically going to try and hit your bottom, if you can. Keeping the foot a little bit relaxed will help. At the same time, turn your palms backwards and just push behind. If you joined us before, you'll know what's coming next. When you're ready, just come to a stop with your feet shoulder width apart. If you just walk forwards and stop, that's your natural position. You're going to push your bottom behind you and bend the knees. If you're in a chair, just have the intention of standing and push the heels down. Otherwise, if you're standing, nice and gently, you don't have to go too low at this stage. When you're ready, if you want to, you can bring the arms up and stretch. So swing down and stretch up. Swing down. What we're going to do now is we're going to carry on with this, but we're going to incorporate a balance. So when we go down, we're going to shift the weight to our toes and then come up. So we're on our toes. So swing down, come up on the toes. Swing down. We're going to do this 4 more times. 4. Woo. Where's my balance? 3. Really stretch high. 2. And 1. And relax. Okay, let's do some skaters. So in our warm-up, we took the foot behind. So if we just carry on with this, let the arms go into a bigger move. And if you're ready and able, we're going to speed it up. So you're going to jump from side to side. Again, stay with the walk if you want. This is just going to get us warmed up in the position. The knees are nice and soft, you're facing forwards. Let's do 5 more. Well done. I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to bend the knees. So you're getting a little bit lower. Again, if you're sat in a chair, just keep the arms going. Let's do this for 10 more. A little bit lower if you can. Talking about water, it's like you need the wee. It's like you need to go. This position, it always reminds me of that. 5, 4. We're going to we're going to change to a balance now. So we're going to stay with going one side. So whichever foot you're starting with, take it to the side to bend the knees, come up slowly and lift the foot. So this is where we bring the balance element in. If you need to, just hold on gently to a surface. So nice and low, and then with the balance, try and control when the foot comes back rather than just plonking it back. If you need to, take the foot out, put it down first. Let's do 5 more. You're right, Helen. And also try and avoid leaning too much because you will lose balance. You're trying to stay tall, keep the core strong so that you don't lean over and fall over. Okay, we change legs. So nice and low, bring the leg out. Well done. If you're on your own doing this at home, well done. You're a superstar. 3 more. And let's do the last one. Well done. Give the legs a shake. We're going to do some lunges. Not everybody likes lunges. Easiest way to get into position. You have your front foot, your back foot just step back onto the toes, and you're just going to bend the knees. This might be enough for you. Stay in here. If you want to get a bit lower, then you're going to do 90 degrees with the knees. Just make sure that front knee does not go beyond the toes. Don't want any injuries. Keeping a nice line, like a rod has gone through the midline of your body. Keep the hips pushed forward. Just going to go up and down. If you don't like your lunges, just stay with some squats. Let's just do 3 more. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lunge down and then lift the leg. So we're lunging and lifting. Well done. Again, don't fire yourself up because you'll go flying. So just lunge and lift. Nice and controlled. Going to do 4 more. Excellent. To develop this move, we've done this many times. We're going to just do on the same leg, the same supporting leg, a standing single leg deadlift. So all you're going to do is take the leg behind. If you need to hold on, please do so. Keep the supporting knee slightly soft. Then look at the ground ahead of you and come up. If you want, you could take both arms and extend out. We do this 5 more times. Again, when you're out here, just try and control the last move. Let's do 2 more. Looking good, Helen. Last one. Well done. Always give the legs a shake, it's nice. After they've been contracting that long, loosen up the muscles. Going to take the other leg behind. Try not to go too far back because then you can't get that knee to the floor. It's very, very difficult. Okay, just up and down when you're ready. So if this is low enough for you, then that is fine. Listen to what your body tells you all the time. If you can, you get a little bit lower. Beautiful. 4 more. Well done. When you're ready, into a lunge and lift. So we're not holding on too long between the lift and go back into the lunge. I can't balance and turn around and look at you. Let's do 5 more. Well done. Last set in this lunge position. Again, supporting knee is soft. Push the leg away from you. So you're pushing the foot behind. So extending as well as lifting. If you want to, just do a small lift. Sorry, I didn't tell you that the first time round. Otherwise, extend behind and come up. Using the arms if you want to. Eddie the Eagle stance if you want. Let's do 5 more. Try not to laugh when you're trying to balance. Doesn't quite work. Two more. Well done. You'll be pleased to know we're just on 1 more round of exercises. If you can, just take the feet slightly wider. Turn the toes out. You don't need to be ballet dancer wide. just so that they're in some kind of pointing out direction. It's the technical term. Just bend the knees, keep the back straight. Doesn't matter how low you go, just make sure the knees follow the direction of the toes and the weight does not cause the knees to come in. Keep the weight and your knees going outwards. Again, it doesn't matter how low you are. Our beautiful Cheryl that used to join us would say this is a goddess pose. I'm very tight in the hips. Too many squats. I'm not very good at this, but I can see Helen is very low, which is wonderful. We're going to do 5 more. Nice and low. It doesn't matter if you're not rod straight, as long as your back is. So even if you're coming slightly forward, as long as your back's straight, that's okay. 3 more. Then we're going to try balance. So when we're down here, you can either just lift on one foot. If you can, lift the heels of both feet, and then we're just going to hold. And we're going to hold that for 15 seconds if we can. Look at Helen, she's got the arms as well. Beautiful. She's been a dancer. Keep holding this if you can. Let's do 8, 7, 6. Keeping up on the toes if you can. Rest when you need to. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Well done. Try not to move your feet just a second. This time we're going to lift up and down, up and down. This is our last exercise, up and down, keeping this shape. Now we're going to try and hold for 1, 2, down, 1, 2, down, 1, 2, down, 1, 2. This looks great. Well done. Can you hold for 3? 1, 2, 3, down. 1, 2, 3. Reminds me of our activity week last year, what we did with the children. 1, 2. Last 2. 1, 2, 3. Down. 1, 2. I couldn't quite do that. And then let's just hold it down. Well done, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just hold this for the last 8 seconds. Keeping the knees pushed back. 5, 4, 3. And relax. Walk the feet slowly in. Give yourself a little shake all over. Homage to the beautiful Robyn. We could do a little bit of waggy dog shaking. Just get us all the blood moving around, oxygen flowing. Get that water flowing around our body. When you're ready, just come to a nice wide feet stance. Just keep moving the feet, so lift the toes up and down. Never want to suddenly stop when you've been exercising. Keep the oxygen going around. Well done. And then bring your feet to a stop. We haven't done too much muscular exercise today, so we just treat the warm down as a warm down rather than stretching the muscles. What we'll do is we'll just take a big circle with the arms, one way and the other. And again, one way and the other. And then we'll bring the feet together and recognizing our bodies. We'll bring our hands to a prayer, to our heart, and we say thank you and express gratitude for this day.
Everybody, I'm blown away by the amount of skills and knowledge that's in this group. It's just staggering.
They are wise women. They know so much, and brilliant. It's a joy every week to learn something new.
Indeed it is.
Thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll have more people in the new year as well.
Yeah, And it's still on
And-
a Wednesday. Still going to be on. Sorry, I've had a bit of a chest cold thing, so that's why I'm definitely on off camera. I just want
Oh,
to
bless you.
just
Okay.
listen. Yeah.
I hope you feel better soon. And I know that you have a lot of your own advice and wisdom. So if you ever want to give a talk on anything, please just let us know. We'd love to have you.
I'm probably very shy.
It's just us.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'll think about that for the new year, though, for sure. Yeah.
Brilliant. That'd be lovely.
Right. Thank you again. See you all next time.
Thank you. You take care.
Bye.
And
Bye.
thank you, Helen. Thank you for your wisdom and all your knowledge, which I'm sure will help so. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And if you've watched another time, thank you so much for finding us. We are on Rumble and YouTube, and we are the PHA. Thank you so much from all the Wellbeing Wednesday team. Have a fabulous day, and we'll see you next time.